Welcome back to our channel where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news. Prince William officially confirms a huge plan for the monarchy, leaving King Charles in shock. An informed source said that following Prince William's bold comments concerning the future of the monarchy in his most recent interview, there has been a lot of conflict in the royal family lately, since King Charles is said to be attempting to slow down Prince William's big plan. An intimate source said that King Charles had to choose between his connection with his wife, brother, and second son, Prince Harry, and the superior monarchy that he always knew. Prince William's decision feels like a smack in the face to King Charles. In this video, we'll learn what Prince William has to say about his great plan for the future of the monarchy, and why we may say it's time for Prince William to seize the throne. We'll also talk about why people adore him, even if King Charles is still there. In a shocking interview, Prince William promised to fight intrusions and modernize the monarchy. He also confirmed that Catherine's cancer is in remission. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, has articulated a bold and perhaps controversial vision for his future rule in an unprecedented and very personal broadcast interview. He also issued a subtly veiled critique of both his father, King Charles III, and his estranged brother, Prince Harry. The heir apparent was in conversation with Canadian actor Eugene Levy for a special broadcast. He announced the favorable news that his wife Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is now clear of cancer. He expressed his desire to be a modernizing monarch and vowed to combat anybody who infringes upon his family's privacy. The interview, which has astonished royal circles and the global media, included the Prince of Wales discussing years of rumors and issues with an unprecedented candor for a future monarch. Prince William's meticulously chosen remarks are seen as a direct challenge to his father's traditional perspectives and a pointed critique of his brother's public grievances, but they do not reach the tell-all format of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. William expressed his desire to avoid replicating the errors of his parents, Charles and Diana, whose public disputes and interactions with the media made his childhood very challenging. He clearly delineated the red line about media intrusion, and analysts believe the admonition is directed at both Prince Harry and the press. The prince said, "Allowing that individual in could inflict irreparable harm on your familial relationships, a consequence I pledged would never befall my own family." He said, "Consequently, I adopt a firm stance regarding the delineation I perceive as well as those who transgress it." The prince garnered attention by stating, "Change is on my agenda," indicating that upon ascending to the throne, he may diverge from long-standing royal traditions. This remark has been described by some as a stunning TV takedown that dismantles the meticulously constructed illusion of complete concord between the current king and his successor. This was said while his father is currently battling an unspecified kind of cancer. The affirmation of the Princess of Wales's improved health may be the most significant personal disclosure. The prince affirmed yes when asked about Catherine's remission status. He described it as wonderful and excellent news. This is the first official update about her status since her tearful video message in March, in which she discussed her chemotherapy treatment after significant abdominal surgery. The interview, conducted on the serene grounds of the Windsor estate, presents a multifaceted portrayal of a prince at a pivotal juncture, a committed husband and father grappling with significant personal strain, and a prospective king resolved to reform the monarchy for a new epoch, even at the cost of confronting traditional practices and contemporary expectations. Catherine's health, a country's relief, and a family's private battle. The prince's announcement that his wife was cancer-free was the most immediate and highly welcome news from the conversation. The public statement puts an end to months of intense curiosity and worry that peaked earlier this year due to a lack of information and a lot of internet conspiracy theories. Levy inquired, "Is Catherine in remission now?" The Prince of Wales said without a doubt, "Yes, yes." "That's great news," he said. "Yes." This simple statement made everyone in the UK and royal watchers across the globe breathe a sigh of relief. Since Christmas, the Princess of Wales has mostly been out of the public eye. Her last big public appearance was on March 22nd when she bravely announced her illness in a video message. People commended the message for being honest, and it was said to have made a big difference in the number of people who were checked for cancer and who were aware of it. In the new interview, Prince William gave a rare look at how the family dealt with the crisis inside palace walls, especially when it came to their three young kids, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. "How did that affect the kids, if I may ask?" Levy asked. William chose his words carefully when he said, "Everyone has their own ways of dealing with these kinds of things, and kids are always learning and changing. We try to make sure they have the safety and security they need. We speak about things that annoy us and things that upset us since we are a pretty open family. But you never know how it will affect other people. And so it's vital to be there for each other and let the kids know that everything is well." Brittany, the editor of the Royal News Network, said that the prince handled a hard subject very well. She said, "William does a great job of handling what could be some tricky issues here about how much he shares about how Catherine's cancer diagnosis has affected him. I think that saying, well, we all cope in different ways is something that everyone can relate to because no two people's grief is the same and no two people's experience with cancer is exactly the same." The prince also spoke on how hard the previous year has been for him personally. His wife and father both got ill. He said that 2024 was the hardest year I've ever had, which is a big statement from someone who is usually so stoic. He spoke on how hard it was to try to sort of balance protecting the children, Catherine, while still doing his job as a public servant. He said that this double duty was tricky, but he stressed how important it was to keep going. This confirmation of remission is happy, but it also reminds us of how fragile the House of Windsor has been lately. It also sets the scene for the prince's other more difficult statements regarding the future. A promise to end the cycle. The dig at Charles and Harry. The main political and family drama in the interview isn't just the health updates, it's William's sharp thoughts about his own upbringing. William spoke about how his parents' public fights and media problems hurt him in what many people saw as a direct attack on them. The late Diana, Princess of Wales, and King Charles III were his parents. He said, "I saw that with my parents when I was growing up." The media was so hungry back then. It's hard to believe today, but they were a lot more greedy, and they wanted to know all they could, and they were in everything, really everywhere. They would know stuff. They would be everywhere. He went on to say something that is now a guiding principle in his own life. And if you let that creep in, the damage it can do to your family life is something that I vowed would never happen to my family. This comment is a strong criticism of the so-called War of the Waleses in the 1990s, when Charles and Diana used interviews and authorized biographies to fight one another in the media. William and Harry were kids at the time and were caught in the middle of world news. William said, "The drama and stress when you're young really affect you when you're older," connecting his prior pain directly to his current determination. You learn from that and try not to make the same mistakes as your parents. Commentators quickly pointed out that William did not let his mother Diana off the hook for this criticism. This is a big change from Prince Harry, who has always depicted his mother as a victim and mostly criticized his father and the institution. William holds both parents responsible, which makes him seem like an unbiased observer who has learned a painful lesson. Dan Wooten, a well-known royal commentator, says this is an obvious assault. William is going after Charles and he is going after Diana. Wooten said, "He absolutely is, and he's not shying away from that. William says that both of you are to blame. The way you handled the media when we were kids had a big effect. This critique of the past is also perceived as a direct message to his younger brother right now, which is very important. Since they stepped down as senior royals, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been in the news a lot. They have done a shocking interview with Oprah Winfrey, a Netflix docuseries, and Harry's book Spare. Wooten says that William thinks his brother is going through the same cycle that he promised to stop. William is extremely explicit when he says, "Harry, you haven't learned anything because you're going through the same thing again. And that's not just going to hurt you, it's going to hurt your kids too." This interpretation implies that William's protective attitude extends beyond the media. It also encompasses safeguarding his children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, from the perceived toxicity emerging from his brother's faction in California. It explains the widely documented estrangement and the prince's stated unwillingness to let his kids see their uncle. A warning to family and the media, the red line. The idea of a red line is at the heart of Prince William's new public ideology. In the interview, he made it clear that he has a nuanced but strong opinion on private and public life. He knows he has a responsibility to protect his family while still doing his job. "I have a very clear idea of where that line is and those who cross it," he said, pausing for a while before adding, "Our fight against..." He then softened his words, admitting that he was aware of the reality of his job. "But I also understand that there is interest in my role. We need to deal with the media, but we also need to be adults about it." Analysts think that this fight isn't only with the press. It's also the main reason why his relationship with Prince Harry is so strained. William thought Harry's choice to post intimate family information in Spare, such as personal chats, insults, and even a fight between the brothers, was not just a betrayal, but also a terrible breach of that red line. Wooten said, "I think that's how Prince William feels about Prince Harry in private. There was a line. The line was really apparent. Harry went much too far. So William fights now and he doesn't forget. That's it. If you cross that line, which Harry did for sure, that's it. Done. That's it. The battle is on." This view shows William not as an aggressor, but as someone who is defending a passionately held belief. He is okay with the gray regions of public life, but when a basic line is crossed, he is quite clear about what he wants. Brittany from the Royal News Network added to this by saying that William thinks Harry's publicity approach is hurting him. He's also saying that when you give away so much like Harry does, you invite more press intrusion into your life, she said. William watched that situation with his parents and said, "No, I don't really want any part of that. I'm sure it simply wrecked their relationship to have your own blood relative violate the most sensitive things, and I don't believe it can be fixed." This red line idea also explains how William deals with the mainstream media. Prince Harry has vowed war on some British media organizations, while William wants a more practical, albeit cautious, cooperation. Harry has said that he is in cahoots with the media, but that is not true. Instead, he has a transactional relationship with them where he gives them access to him in return for some privacy. This interview is a perfect example of that strategy. By giving a well-known and non-confrontational individual like Eugene Levy a lot of intimate access, the prince completely controlled the story, fulfilling the public's interest on his own terms. The modernizing monarch. A test for the king and tradition. William's open statement that he wants to be an agent of change may have been the most important portion of the interview in terms of the Constitution. King Charles has barely been on the throne for 18 months and is openly fighting a terrible illness. It is a long-standing royal custom that the heir does not talk about what kind of kingdom they will have in the future. William threw that tradition out the window. Levy said, "It sounds like the monarchy will be going in a slightly different direction." And William quickly and confidently replied. He added, "I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda. Change for the better. And I like that shift, and I accept it. I don't fear it. That's the part that gets me excited, the thought of being able to make a difference." He swiftly added a disclaimer, as if he realized how serious what he had said was, not too radical change, but changes that I think need to happen. Even with this caveat, the effects are huge. Commentators quickly saw this as a direct attack on King Charles's more orthodox views. Tom Sykes, who writes for the Royalist Substack. The Royalist didn't hold back when he said, "Prince William dramatically blows up palace fiction of harmony with King Charles in wounding TV interview." William just confirmed it all in a shocking TV takedown of his dad. Some people thought this language was too extreme, yet the tension is genuine. William seems to want a monarchy that is far smaller, more useful, and less ceremonial. He has allegedly questioned the need to live at Buckingham Palace and has shown little interest in the pomp and ceremony that his father loves. The interview led to rumors that William would be willing to give up important customary positions. People have long thought that he would not want to be the supreme governor of the Church of England, a position that English kings and queens have held since Henry VIII. Brittany stated, "I've thought he wouldn't be head of the Church of England." She was also worried that William didn't care about history. Part of the thing about monarchy is that it's a little silly and you have to kind of lean into that. And I think William doesn't like any of that. People also think that he may not want to be head of the Commonwealth, a job that his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, loved, and that King Charles strove to get. Such actions would signify a deliberate abdication of authority unparalleled in contemporary royal history, substantially transforming the essence of the British monarchy. William's goal is clear. "I want to create a world where my son is proud of what we do in a world and a job that actually makes people's lives better." This focus on real change over symbolic tradition is what his proposed reign is all about. It excites modernizers and worries traditionalists. The family man putting normalcy first in the face of royalty. While the monarchy's future was a serious topic of conversation, the prince spoke about his own family life in a very personal way. The interview made it clear that the dad was determined to provide his children the secure, caring, and mostly normal childhood he never had. His persistence in being there for the everyday rituals of family life is an example of this dedication. "We're in and out of school most days to pick up and drop off," he added. "It's very important to find the right balance between work and family life because family is the most important thing in my life." He went on to explain his philosophy. "If you don't give the kids a happy, healthy, and stable home now, I think you're setting them up for a hard time and a fall." His strong desire to be normal comes from his love for his wife's family, the Middletons. Many people have said that William was interested in Catherine not just because of who she was, but also because of the loving, stable, and close-knit family she came from. This was quite different from the way his own family was when he was a youngster. Brittany said, "Catherine had to teach William how to do some things like how to be a part of a normal family and do things that are normal for him. This need for normality also affects how they raise their kids." William said that his kids don't use cell phones, which will strike a chord with many contemporary parents. He said, "We are very strict about not letting any of our kids have phones." He also said that family meals are a must. It's very important to sit and talk. The kids in Wales do more traditional things instead of using screens. Lewis loves the trampoline. "He's crazy about trampolining," William said with a grin. "From what I can tell, they just end up beating each other up and jumping up and down on the trampoline." These moments of lightheartedness and parental pride help to make the future king more human, exposing a side of him that is usually masked by the formal nature of his official function. His revelation that family-related stress is what really gets to him far more than the stress of his job was quite telling. He said, "Things to do with family stress me out a lot. Worry or stress about family matters really gets to me. When it has to do with family and things like that, that's when I start to feel overwhelmed, as I think most people would." This weakness, together with his strong protectiveness, paints a vivid picture of a contemporary royal parent living an exceptional life with ordinary priorities. The health, happiness, and safety of his wife and children come first. An explanation of how to take command of a story through the interview itself. Both the interviewer and the method in which it was conducted were excellent choices. In order to ensure that the interview would be courteous and sympathetic, William's staff arranged for Eugene Levy, a well-known comedic actor who is not experienced in hard-hitting journalism, to sit down with him. The prince was now able to speak about things on his own terms without the dread of being compelled to talk about things that made him feel uncomfortable. This provided him the freedom to talk about things. Levy was later questioned by a journalist about whether or not he had been told not to query about Prince Harry and Meghan, which allowed the matter to become evident. According to what Levy had to say, "No one told me I couldn't ask anything. However, that was not really my concern at all. Considering that it was a very delicate subject, I refrained from asking him any questions about it at all. There were other subjects that I might have discussed that would have interested the audience more and would have been more interesting to listen to." The response provided by Levy demonstrates the primary tactic, which is to refrain from following the gossipy tabloid route, and instead focus on matters of substance, such as the preservation of the monarchy, the importance of family values, and the power of the individual. William was able to conduct one of the most enlightening interviews he has ever conducted because of this strategy. During the course of the event, there were also several adorable and spontaneous moments that made the prince seem more personal. The electric scooter that he allegedly uses to navigate the expansive Windsor grounds was the mode of transportation that he presented himself on. This was a scene that was both humorous and unexpected. Orla the family dog was given some cookies by Levy, and he also played with her, which provided a glimpse of the laid-back individual who was featured in the title. These humorous parts had a more serious purpose. They put the audience at ease and reinforced the concept of a prince who is grounded in reality, which in turn made his more serious remarks about the monarchy and family turmoil all the more effective. In conclusion, this marks the beginning of a new period in royal history. In the annals of history, the discussion that took place between Prince William and Eugene Levy will be remembered as a pivotal moment for the present monarchy of the United Kingdom. In addition to being a personal testimony that was delivered with meticulous forethought, it was also a declaration of intent and a vehicle to settle scores. During a period of extreme upheaval, it provided people with a brief moment of hope and stability by delivering the good news that the Princess of Wales was making progress in her recovery. On the other side, it demonstrated how more apart the royal family is than ever before, and hinted at a future that would be marked by significant and maybe even profound changes. The position that the Prince of Wales holds has been made very clear. His pledge is that he would protect his family from the influences from the outer world that were harmful to him when he was a child. This pledge is a direct critique of the actions that his parents have taken in the past, as well as the actions that his sibling is now exhibiting. According to what he has communicated to the establishment, his rule will not be a continuation of the current state of affairs, but rather a fresh vision of what a monarchy ought to be in the 21st century. The heir to King Charles III is now posing a greater danger than he ever has before as his reign continues. William is no longer only playing the role of a spectator. Rather, he is now actively shaping the narrative and determining the course of events. In addition to being a casual conversation, this interview served as the preliminary launch of the next chapter in the history of the House of Windsor. During this new age, King William Fee's strong will and desire for modernization would play a significant role. According to appearances, the process of power transfer has already started. When Prince William announced that there would be no role for the family of the Duke of Sussex, no place for Prince Andrew in the United Kingdom, and no role for Camilla and her family in the royal family, King Charles was said to have been very angry, according to a source with knowledge of the situation. The no longer on speaking phase has been believed to have been experienced by King Charles and Prince William, according to the anonymous source. In this video, we will learn about recent events that have occurred inside the royal family, most notably a conflict between the king's vision and the heir's vision. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts and goodbye for now.